All right. Hello, everybody. It's been probably too long since I released a devlog about the trip planner that I'm building, but here we are. Here's a devlog now. I had some mental health issues, so that kind of delayed development, but we are back on track with development of the Disney Transport Trip Planner. Uh, a lot of stuff has changed since the last devlog, as you can see here. First of all, it looks a lot nicer. Uh, yeah, it looks a lot nicer. Um, Also now have a version number and a place to send any factual errors and bug reports because I am preparing to get this live on a server so you can actually check it out yourself soon. I said that last time, and we'll see what actually happens. I also have patch notes page so you can see what changed and when that changed. Now for the actual like what's going on with the new things. So we now have routes displaying on the map. You can see here. When you first load in the page, it'll by default display ferries, monorails, and Skyliner. And then you also have the option of, let's see, I want to show all the Animal Kingdom. Well, first, get rid of these. Unchecking those. All right, so let's say I want to see all the Animal Kingdom buses. So all the buses that run from the resorts to Animal Kingdom. I can do that and click and do that. Same thing for Epcot buses. And if I want to show just an individual route, I can open up the tab and I can click on individual routes. I put little images in the background just to make it look a little bit nice. This formatting thing here, these are not aligned. I intend to fix that. I'd like to get this text and these buttons the same width as these buttons down here. Uh, Everything is split up by mode, so Animal Kingdom, Disney Springs, Epcot, Ferry, Hollywood Studios, Interpark, Lynx, Magic Kingdom, Monorail, Internal Resort Shuttle, Skyliner, Sunrail, Terminal Link at the MC at the airport. Yes, at the airport, and then water park buses. And also, I'll go to Ferry. You see that this also acts as your map key, so it shows you what color each of the routes will show up as, and you can click on the text to display the routes. These three colors are not correct. Obviously, you can see the purple is green, or the green is purple, purple is yellow, and the yellow is green. That is just an issue in the data structure of the file that I'm using to run all this. That is a very easy fix. I just am procrastinating on actually making that fix. But it will be fixed before 1.0. Uh, so that's that. The last thing is there's these two tabs. The default is the routes viewer. Um, and when you click on that, oh, here, because nothing happens because you're already there. But when you go and click over here, this is where the actual trip planner will be once I implement that. That is what I'm working on now. I can show you some of the code for that in a bit. Um, and a neat little thing with how this works is I've set it up so that you can see I have Animal Kingdom selected. If I go over to the trip planner tab and I come back, it stays checked. It should also stay on the map. There's some sort of glitch. I'm trying to figure out what's causing that. That is preventing it from reappearing on the map. But in theory, the routes that you have selected when you switch tabs should appear back again when you switch back to the routes viewer. All right. Uh, that's it for like explaining what's going on. Uh, so if you don't want to see the nerdy like under the hood code stuff, then you can click off now. If you want to see the nerdy under the hood stuff, then let's jump into that. If my computer will let me. If my computer will let me. There we go. All right. Yes. We go very slowly because if I go fast, OBS will crash. So I have to scroll really slowly. All right. I don't think I've actually gone over the code, so might as well just start from the top and work our way down. Yeah. Still more. Right. Yeah, this is just all the style stuff, getting all the styles set up for the CSS. Uh, there's the file here that this controls what everything looks like basically. Um, so then there's that, and then this allows me to use fonts. This is where the map comes from. And then obviously there's the text stuff, and then here is the map. This is going to be where the stuff for the planner goes. This is the framework for the routes shower thing, whatever you want to call it. Uh, the it gets I'll show you how that actually gets put into the full program. It's down lower. And then these are once again placeholders for the trip planner stuff, which will also be filled in by code where that code is not written yet. All right. So first we have this set of code right here is what controls these collapsible elements here. So it adds an event listener, which is just looking for you to click on it, basically. Whenever someone clicks on it, it's like, oh, someone clicked on it, so I'm gonna do the thing that you tell me to do when you click on it. Uh, in this case, it is to there's a console.log that doesn't need to be there. Get rid of that. So basically, if it's set to not display, if like the inside stuff is set to not display, it will display, and if the inside stuff is set to display, it will not display. And once again, that only happens when you click on one of the tabs. It's that. And then we have, there's a whole lot of code here, so we'll go through each section. We have the main body function. Right here is where we read the route, the routes file that has all the route information. I showed off this file earlier, but this. It's just a bunch of data. Uh, Actually, I can scroll. This is all metadata, so data about the data, just information about what's going on with each particular route. And then we get to the actual data, which is just a series of coordinates on the, uh, latitude, longitude coordinates that are strung together to make the lines. It's a really cool program that does it all for you. So that's that. Then we have the program that, or the block that reads the locations file. So this has all the locations sorted by which area they're in. And then I think within each location, there's specific areas. And then what stops serve that area. And that is read by this block down here. Wait. Yeah, this is a file retest to make sure that the routes file is reading properly. It's obsolete at this point. I just haven't bothered to remove it. But it could be removed and it would have no bearing on the project. All right, moving on down. This is a function I wrote to compare uh, two data types that you have to basically write your own custom compare because they're not comparable by default. And this is to sort the routes, the subroutes here. Um, the order that these are in the file is not alphabetical order. It's an order that is more convenient for me when I'm looking at it, like to see the data. However, when I want it displayed for users to see, I want it in alphabetical order because that makes it easier from a user standpoint. So I had to write this function, these two functions together combined to sort those locations by alphabetical instead of by alphabetically sort them instead of the default sort. Ignoring links because links it sorts wrong because of how number sorting works. It'll put the 300, 307, 311, 350 before 56 because it sees a 3 and it's like, oh yeah, 3 is less than 5. So yeah, that must be how it works. So I told it not to sort those because it'll put it in the wrong order. So that's that. And then here's just where we have all the actual HTML code that generates all that button stuff. This basically runs through the file and it gets all the data it needs, and it converts all that data into these buttons, the text, these checkboxes, the color boxes, the text here, the images in the background. Um, that's all done just solely through reading the routes file. It saves a lot of work, so I don't have to manually go and type out each individual thing. I can just do one generic thing and just let it run, and it'll auto-generate everything for me. All right. Next, so that's the meat of what does it. This is what is called to actually. This is basically the button that gets pressed that runs this. Essentially, is the way to think about it. Um, yeah. And then we have this little thing here, which wait, is that a duplicate? Do I have duplicate code? Hold on. I should know if I do. I should know that better. There is duplicate code. All right. Yeah, there's in the course of recording this video, I have found duplicate code. That's very interesting. Where was I? Where were we? Yes, the duplicate code here. Well, that is something for me to look into. Um, yeah. Okay, whatever. Next we have the function, or the not a function, but the block, the code block that generates the map and the map for you to see, the base map, not the layers. The layers are generated down further. Oh, there's another console.log that can get removed. You can get rid of that. All right, this creates a data structure that has the what is it? It is the route codes and their corresponding address in the routes file. Um, that allows this code down here to then um, use those addresses to actually add the lines to the map, like this or these over here. Basically, it does this if the line is not on the map, and it does this if the line is on the map. Um, yeah, fairly straightforward. And then this, once again, this is kind of a helper function, and this is the actual, so to speak, button press that actually triggers this. And once again, it's working by adding an event listener. This time it's on change. So whenever it sees one of these checkboxes change, it triggers and it's like, oh, I need to do something, and it does the something that it's something it needs to do. All right. Oh, there's also duplicate code here. Oh well, just whatever. This this boxes and this checkboxes L is the same thing, but whatever. Maybe I'll fix it, maybe I won't. I probably should, but eh. uh, so yeah, this gets all of the low-level checkboxes here. So these are low-level checkboxes. The ones inside the uh, tabs are low level. The ones on the tabs are high level. This gets all the low level checkboxes, and yeah, that's what I was saying. This is what uh presses that button that presses the button that triggers this. Yes, I was I got confused. I got lost. Moving on. So down here, this gets all the high level checkboxes. This gets all the low level checkboxes because we are now approaching the territory of, well, I want to check this box and have all of these check, or I want to uncheck this box and have them all unchecked. Or like I have, I don't know, I got like these guys, view selected, and I want to deselect them all quickly. Okay, click, click, they're gone. So that's what this code does. This is a near identical copy of the code up here. The difference is instead of being called on the event listener, it takes it physically takes a layer to be acted upon. And it also has some modifications so it doesn't to avoid conflicts with the other function up there. And then this is what actually gets all the low level checkboxes that correspond with the upper level checkboxes. And then is what actually does like the dirty work. Once again, this is like the button press that triggers this. Or this, wait, yeah, this is the button press that does this, and then this is a button press that does this. So this adds the event listener to the upper level checkboxes. When that event listener is triggered, it then does this to get all the checkboxes that of the corresponding tab, and then it runs add input remove layers function, which is up here. So it's a double button press. Right. Then this right here uh, is what allows the monorail, ferries, and Skyliner to show by default upon loading uh, the web page. That's all it does. This checks the low level boxes and adds the layers, and this checks the upper level boxes. And then right here is how we switch between the route viewing and trip planner modes, as I call them, but really just the two tabs. Um, so basically, so we add an event listener on specifically that one button that leads to the routes viewer tab. Then we add a second event listener on specifically the one button that leads to the trip planner tab. And then when you click on the routes viewer, you hide everything except for the routes viewer. When you click on the trip planner, you hide everything except for the first menu. Uh, that will make more sense. I can go and explain what I'm thinking for that. So I will have, when you first click on the trip planner, you'll be greeted with a menu where you can select your destination. Then you click enter, and then you can select your destination. Once again, you click enter, and then it'll give you your route options, and then you can click on each route option to get more details. So those are three different screens. Obviously, when we first select the trip planner, we only want the first of those three screens, and the other two go away. And then they get triggered in sequence when it is time for them to appear. This is the skeleton of the function that will display locations. Um, Yeah, this is the skeleton of the function that will display basically display the menu of selecting locations. And that brings us to the bottom of the code. Um, I guess images are stored in this folder, so it can be accessed really easily. Uh, Anything else here? I think that's it. Yeah, we look at routes.geojson, look at locations, look at patch notes, there's nothing really to see there. Index. That's obsolete. I probably can delete that. Styles, looked at that. I think that's everything. So yeah, thanks for watching. This devlog has been almost 20 minutes, but yeah, more updates to come, and stay tuned for new educational videos coming out uh, starting early December. All right, so that's all I've got for you today. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.